We're going to be taking a look at having a big enough reason why you want to achieve your goals. And this is one of the most critical aspects for your long-term success. And I'll give you a good example even in my own life. When I went to college my first year, I was going because it was the thing to do. What am I going to do after high school? My dad, my mom wanted me to go to college. So I went there without really knowing. I said, well, I'm going to be a marine biologist because that's, I used to snorkel all the time. I used to love being in the water. So that was my perspective of what I wanted to do. So that was my goal. I wanted to go to college and be a marine biologist. However, I didn't have really a reason or motivation for helping me through those tough times of having to stay up late doing homework, having to go to class all the time, not being distracted by hanging out with friends and things like that. So I didn't have a big enough reason why. And anything in life that you're trying to achieve, whether it's relationship, career, whether it's a goal that has to do with schooling or a certain income level that you want to achieve, it all comes down to having that big enough reason why. So I ended up failing my first year of college, got straight Fs. And then I went back to Puerto Rico and I had my brother who passed away. And once he had passed away, it kind of switched something within me and gave me a reason why I wanted to go back to school. And I wanted to go back to school to be a psychologist, to be able to help youth that had gone through similar things that we went through, to be able to prevent some of the things that took him where he went to because of the accident, because of his state of mind, because of his stress levels, because things that he was going through as a youth that most people around him could not see. So for me, that was very important. I had a big enough reason why. So all of a sudden I went over there and I went back to college and I was so driven. I got in a car accident, was severely hurt with my back, was told I would never be able to walk again. But no matter what obstacles got in my way, even though I couldn't even carry my books to class, I was not going to let anything stop me because I had this reason, I had this purpose of why I was doing what I wanted to do. So whatever goals that you have in your life, you have to have a why. You have to be able to answer that why and have it be big enough. And some people say, well, I want to have this in my life, but it's just, I can't seem to get motivated. And I say, well, maybe you're not dreaming big enough. Maybe your why is not big enough. Maybe it's not really pushing outside of your boundaries, pushing outside of your limits. And by being able to do that, you're going to have the motivation. You're going to find the drive within you to be able to do that. So when you ask for a big enough reason why, you have to get to the core of your why and why you're doing that. And I'll give you a perfect example. Some people say, I want to make $1,000, a week, or I want to make $5,000 a week. But they don't see any way to do that. They say, well, I got to do this with a business and I got to spend more time doing this. I got to spend more time doing that. But they get distracted easily. But what happens, all of a sudden they have a family member who gets ill, or they go through something that somebody really needs the finances. They're going to lose their home. And all of a sudden their creativity goes on. They're on fire. They stay up all night. They do whatever they have to do to be able to make that money, to be able to make that happen. So you don't want to be driven to have a why that's because of chaos, that's because of pain, even though pain can be a very driving force in our lives. But also you have to have a why that's going to drive you with pleasure. For example, we had someone in one of our conferences that came up to us and said, I'm really going to apply this. I want to be able to be more productive and more efficient to reach my goals. And I said, so what are your goals? He said, to be wealthy and have this much money and be able to do these things with the money. And I said, why do you want the money? Or why do you want to be more productive? Because if I'm more productive, then I'll have more money. If I have more money, then I can buy a bigger house. And I said, well, that's good. So why do you want a bigger house? Well, I want a bigger house because I want to support my family. I want to support my mom, my dad, be able to move in because, they have been struggling financially. I want to be able to contribute to that. And I want a house where I can go back to that. We're a very tight-knit family and I want to be able to enjoy that together. And as we kept digging on why, kept asking, so why do you want that? Why do you want that? And he kept exploring it even more. And one thing that happened by the end of the conversation, he was so fired up because it was no longer about productivity. Because if you have a goal to be more productive, if you have a goal to make $1,000 a week, it doesn't really drive you. But if you have a goal to create stability in your family, possibly to be able to contribute, to be able to feel like you're making a difference, to be able to help someone or help yourself, help your family, whatever it may be, if that big enough reason why will drive you, the money will come naturally, the goals will come naturally. For example, when I went back to school, I went from getting straight F's to getting straight A's. It was no longer about getting the grades. I was consumed in the information because I knew that information would help me achieve my goals. That information was going to help me help other people. Not only help other people, but help me deal with the trauma of having lost my brother. So again, we don't want a why that's in the surface. We want a why that's rooted within our core of who we are, that's going to drive us no matter what. I'll give you another perfect example. I was working with someone who was sexually abused, and when I started working with them, they had gone back to school and they were failing in school. They didn't have motivation or anything like that. But once we kept exploring of why she wanted to go to school, and once she was able to see and change her reference point and develop a new why, which is not because it was something to do, but because maybe she can go to school, develop the skills to one day help girls that were being sexually abused, just like she was. All of a sudden, her pain turned into a purpose, and that purpose gave her a big enough reason why she wanted to go to class, why she wanted to do the things that she did. And she ended up graduating with her bachelor's with a great GPA. She ended up going to get her master's, and now is contributing to young women that have been sexually abused. So again, that big enough reason why will help push you. So keep asking yourself, if this is what I want, why do I want it? And then keep digging deeper. Why do I want that? Why do I want that? Why do I want that? And the more that you get into it, it has to be something that's going to fire you up. It's going to be something that within you is a driving force that's going to get you excited. Because if you have a big enough reason why, you'll wake up early in the morning. You'll go to sleep at night late. And that's what you want to find. And if you have that why, you will find success. And also from a psychological perspective, your brain works on two different hemispheres. So when you're learning something, for example, you have your left hemisphere, which is more analytical, which is problem solving and things like that. And then you have your right hemisphere that needs a reason why. So if you can answer that why, when I work with people from all over the world, if I can help them see why they're going to my workshop or why they're attending this or why this information is important to them, they're not only going to use the critical thinking, logical left hemisphere, you're also going to be using that right hemisphere. And if you can get both hemisphere into one goal, and we'll talk more about the power of the unconscious mind as we go along, which will give you a lot of powerful tools. But if you can get both hemispheres of your mind in combination, truly working together to reach one goal, you're going to find that you're going to be more efficient with that goal, and you're going to be able to create results faster than you could have ever imagined. Well, I hope that helps. Remember, go back to that information, really assess why you want your goals, really determine, write them down, and work on those until you get to a core why that's going to help you stay motivated no matter what obstacles come in your way. Thank you.